What's up, people? Oops. In this video, we are going to take a look at this lovely person right here, Foodie Beauty, in this video, which is trying medication to treat binge eating disorder. Somebody asked me to take a look at her videos and to analyze her struggle to lose weight, because apparently she's been trying to lose weight for many years. No offense, but like judging from what she looks like now, does not look like she has been trying to lose weight for at all. Really looks like she's trying to gain weight. No offense, Foodie Beauty, I'm sure you're a very nice person, and it's possible that you are actually legitimately struggling to lose weight, and that I'm just being a total asshole for making fun of you. But I will take the chance that that is the case as I watch your video. Also, by the way, if you guys have any other suggestions for other YouTubers or videos that you want me to watch and analyze, I would be happy to do it. I would like to make more videos like this, so please leave me a comment. Let me know what you would like me to take a look at or who you would like me to take a look at. So without further ado, let's jump right into trying medication to treat binge eating disorder, which, by the way, is a very good search term for YouTube SEO. In fact, while we wait for this to load, why don't we see if we can open our, oh fuck, wrong one. Okay, now this is going to be important in a minute, and you will see why, but let's watch the video.
I know I've had a history of wanting to just not talk about this stuff on my channel, and I know a lot of people will think that this is very personal, maybe I shouldn't share these things, but the sole reason I'm doing it is to share my story, because I know that there's other people out there going through this.
Okay, is it really the sole reason that you're doing it, is to share your story? I mean, it has nothing to do with, you know, the personal satisfaction of knowing that you have 55,000 YouTube subscribers and you're making essentially full-time income from YouTube ad revenue and potentially some product endorsements in the future. It has nothing to do with all that. You just want to share your story. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not buying it. But again, let's take it at face value and just continue.
Hey guys, so good morning. I'm just heading to today's vlog, I guess, will just be kind of going to my appointment at the hospital, to the outpatient psychiatry / eating disorder clinic, which is in the same area, it's the same department. So I just remembered that I'm going to need cash for parking, and sometimes their ATM is not working at the hospital, so I'm going to find a bank machine somewhere around here. But yeah, I got oh my gosh. I was up late live streaming last night, so thank you for those of you who came. Sorry about that. Thank you to those of you who came, but even if I wasn't up live streaming, I'd be doing something else. I only fell asleep at 6 a.m. and I was up at 9. So yeah, I'm gonna be tired today, so, but anyways, so yeah, I'm just on my way, so I will see you guys shortly. This is the parking garage.
She's breathing very heavily for walking.
Hello, lady. Just having a small sitting break.
I mean, imagine, we never actually really get a clear look of what her entire body looks like. I mean, she is fat, but for example, she doesn't look, and I could be wrong, she doesn't look as fat as Amberlynn Reed, right? Who is 500 something pounds. I don't think this woman is that heavy, right? Her face is less round. But imagine being so heavy that you can't walk without being out of breath. Like, no exaggeration, she's like out of breath from walking down a flight of stairs and walking maybe 50 feet, that she needs to sit and take a break. That's kind of, I mean, it's almost, and I understand the appeal of these channels, which is really just like a Jerry Springer, look how bad these people are doing, I don't feel so bad about my life kind of thing. I understand that that's the appeal, but if we want to look at this person and see, okay, are they actually trying to lose weight? Is this really a struggle, or is it just a dramatic representation of a struggle? Like, is it a dramatic reenactment of what a struggle would look like if you were this big? I don't know, like, again, are you addicted to the identity of somebody who is struggling, or are you legitimately on your way towards a healthier version of yourself? I think the two are not necessarily mutually exclusive, but I think generally they are.
Before I head back in there and up to the floor I need to go to, sitting on a bench.
Some quality B-roll right there.
Hey guys, just got back from my appointment. I know I look out of it, I'm very tired. So I got a coffee. They have a coffee shop there. It's really good. Second cup. Alright, so I'm going to keep looking at myself to make sure it's in focus. It's hot. Like, when I went in my appointment, it wasn't that hot. Now it is. So I have my air blaring. Plus, I just walked up a whole bunch of stairs because I'm too chicken to take the elevator in the parking garage. Although I took it in the hospital, but I didn't want to. I was like freaking out secretly because the escalator that goes up to the emergency department is broken, so it's not working. So you just have these constant rushes of people trying to get in the elevators, and I kept waiting and waiting for the rush to go down, but it was just like constantly, so I was crammed in there. Anyway, I'm claustrophobic.
Imagine being this upset and thinking this intensely about whether or not to take the elevator, the escalator, or the stairs. A normal, healthy person would probably just take the stairs, be like, okay, normal, healthy person would probably just take the elevator and not worry about it, right? I get it, she's fat, she's embarrassed probably, doesn't want to feel like she's cramping up the elevator or something like that. But if she actually legitimately was trying to lose weight, then she would take the stairs because she knows that it's a form of exercise, and a form of exercise that would make you healthier and make you lose weight. Okay, so by making such a big deal about not taking the stairs, this to me makes it seem obvious that she's not really trying to lose weight. I mean, if she was, she would willingly take the stairs, and just take the stairs all the time because it's a form of exercise. All right, does that make sense? This is not looking good.
Hi. So basically, I had an appointment today, and I know I've had a history of wanting to just not talk about this stuff on my channel, and I know a lot of people will think that this is very personal, maybe I shouldn't share these things. But the sole reason I'm doing it is to share my story, because
Sure. I
know there's other people out there going through this, suffering from an eating disorder, who is obese, who does have food addiction, and I'm just wanting to share my story of how I'm getting better. So basically, because for the longest time, like I told the psychiatrist today, I never realized, I didn't think of this as an eating disorder. I didn't think that I had a problem. And he finished my sentence for me. He said, "You didn't think you had a problem." And so, yeah, I said, yeah. By the way, I love my doctor. He takes so much time with me. I thought going there that, because you see all these pamphlets all over, they treat a lot of anorexia. And I felt like...
So she didn't think that she had a problem, right? The person who asked me in the comments, they said, take a look at this person and see if you can determine, I forget what they said exactly, but something like, they've struggled with their weight over the years. Can you take a look and kind of give your opinion? Something like that. But like, if you don't think that you have a problem, how can you be struggling with something if you don't even think you have a problem, right? And again, I don't want to pick on her, but like, look at her. This is not a problem. Like, this is what's wrong. This is what's wrong with America. Is people who look like this don't think they have a problem. Like, how is this acceptable? It's kind of crazy.
Like, based on the literature I've read about the program, everything, that it would be mostly centered around anorexia or bulimia or something like that. But no, he was able to. He said, I'm going to help you. And he looked me right in the face when I first saw him. So basically, I haven't been in the program very long. I had an assessment, and then just a brief meeting. But this is like an actual appointment where I saw the psychiatrist and the program psychiatrist, and he specializes in eating disorders. So he's worried about my mental health, my mental illness, which he thinks that I'm severely depression and anxiety. And he wants, so basically at today's visit, he's put me on a couple of medications. And just to clarify, I did ask him to confirm that what I'm being treated for is binge eating disorder. So that's the eating disorder I'm being treated for. Just because there's a lot of confusion around that. Basically, he asked me questions, and especially when I told him about the pizza boxes, BB finding 10, 15 pizza boxes hidden in the closet, that's binge eating. You do it in secret. You're ashamed, stuff like that. I do overeat as well throughout the day, because when I first saw him, he's like, do you overeat or do you binge eat? So he did an assessment to determine, do you have binge eating? So I do. And basically he looked me right in the face and said, you're going to die. You're going to get diabetes, you're going to get heart disease, and you're going to die. You have pulmonary embolism. That's very serious. I said, I know. I said, you know what, to tell you the truth, part of me doesn't care if I die young. It's hard to imagine my life without food. And I was just being honest. And he said, that's not true. He's like, don't let the depression, tell you that. He's like, you came here. You didn't have to come here. The fact that you came here means that you want help. And he's like, can we agree on that? He's like, now this is going to take, he's like, you have to be very active in this. This is going to take your cooperation. You have to listen to me. Kind of like Dr. Now, And I was like, yes. And so basically, because I didn't really tell you guys about my, initial appointment. So I'm going back and telling you here what's leading up to this appointment today. So,
all right, before we get into that, first of all, I like this doctor. I like how he just tells it like it is. Okay, now the other thing that I want to draw attention to is that she's taking a very passive approach to this. And you find this a lot with people who are extremely obese, right? Or they don't have to be obese, but people who have very severe health problems, you'll notice that they very rarely take responsibility for their health, and they have a very passive approach to how they approach their health. It doesn't make sense. They have a very passive approach to caring for their health on their own, I guess. Like, for example, those of you who are probably healthy, I consider myself a healthy person, I'm always looking up how to fix certain things with my own health, right? I remember back when I used to live in New Zealand, a couple of years ago, I lived there with my ex-girlfriend, well, now ex-girlfriend. Back then she was my girlfriend. Anyway, we lived there together, and I was in the bathroom one day, and I kind of, for some reason, I looked at the inside of my mouth in the mirror, and I noticed that I had a cavity, right? Now, at the time in New Zealand, I was trying to save money for something specific, and I didn't want to go spend $300 to go get my cavity filled, right? So I went online and I started Googling how to fix a cavity naturally. And if any of you guys have seen that video that I made about bentonite clay, that's how I initially discovered bentonite clay, is I found some stuff online about people who had done things like oil pulling and brushing their teeth with bentonite clay to make cavities go away naturally. Okay, that's just one example. Okay, not to count the, honestly, at this point, probably hundreds of hours of research that I've done about various supplements, drugs, peptides, steroids, like all kinds of stuff, illnesses, and the effect that it has on your health. Why? Because I'm actually interested in how I can change my body composition and my own personal level of health, which if you take a look at people who are extremely obese, like this girl, or even people who are maybe skinny fat or who don't pay any real attention to their health, they don't have that essential belief of being able to take their health in their own hands. Plus, what she said earlier about not caring about dying if she doesn't have food in her life, I get it. Part of that might be the depression, but what it really says to me is that there are so many people out there who, I don't want to say live such meaningless lives, but they live lives that are so devoid of any kind of, I don't want to say higher purpose, but really any sort of more satisfying work-related pursuit, achieving anything, that their only source of happiness in life is what they put in their mouth, right? In terms of food, okay? You've heard the concept like filling a hole with food. That's what's happening here, and if this person had another source of happiness other than what they were eating, then I don't think that they would do this. Like for me, and this is the last thing and then I'll restart the video. For me, I don't associate eating unhealthy food with being happy, right? Because I know it's going to make me feel shitty. I know I'm going to gain weight. I know I'm going to look worse. And I know it's going to hurt my performance when I actually try and go to the gym. So for me, it's the opposite. For somebody like this who doesn't actually exercise, doesn't put themselves in those potentially negative situations, the only negative effects they're going to feel is when, they stop watching TV, or they stop, distracting themselves in other ways to feel the negative effects of whatever, the effect their food that they're eating is having on their body.
Hold on. So basically, between him and the nutritional counselor, for now I'm just starting with small steps. No eating in my room. He's like, if I could put a big caution X yellow tape on your door, no eating in the room. The bedroom is for sleeping. No eating in the car is for driving. You're going to get in an accident. I said, I've gotten in almost in a couple of accidents trying to dip my chicken nuggets. I know it's not funny, but okay. It's just scary how much funny. He knows. It's like, wow, that's me. It's like, you don't eat in your bedroom. So, and I'm just eating, they didn't, so basically, try to eat your 3 meals a day, but they didn't go really into detail about what
3 meals a day is not good. 1 meal a day.
Kind of foods to eat as much. No fast food, because that's a big trigger for me, so, but that's basically like, so just eat at home. But the thing that he said, whenever I first saw him, he wanted to put me on Vyvanse, which is a medication it's for ADD. Used to treat, I think, epilepsy. No. But it's been effective to treat binge eating.
Yeah, because it's a stimulant. So Vyvanse is what they give to people who have ADD, and if I'm not mistaken, it's an amphetamine derivative. So speeds up your nervous system and basically jacks up your adrenaline, which will make you will burn a lot of fat and you will kind of suppress your appetite. But yeah, it's not good for you or anything.
The idea is through behavioral changes and the medication to get me on a good path. So he wants to put me on, today he wants to put me on a stronger antidepressant and anti-anxiety, because I thought that the escitalopram was helping, but it's actually not really as much as I thought. So I told him that, and he wants to put me on Effexor, 75 milligrams of Effexor, and then 30 milligrams of Vyvanse. And Vyvanse is a very expensive medication, so I'm getting 28 days of it, like a free trial, to see if it really helps me. But it's a stimulant apparently, so I can't take it at night, so I have to take it in the morning. So that's another thing is said you have to move, you have to get your circulation going, you have to exercise. He's like, all I want you to do for now is just commit to light walking 15 minutes a day, because he knows about my pulmonary embolisms and everything like that. Because he said, you know, if it wasn't for the pulmonary embolisms, I would ask you to do more, but for now, do that, and then before you increase your exercise, check with your thrombosis doctor, which I have to call them because I have to let them know the new medications I'm on, because in case they have a reaction with the warfarin. So I got to do that now. So anyway, so that's where I'm at right now with that, and just giving you an update. I have another appointment, follow-up appointment on July something, it's in a month basically. They want to give me time to see how the Vyvanse is going to do, and so yeah, so that's it. That's about it, I guess. I just wanted to share that with you because I know a lot of you are concerned.
So one thing that I've noticed about people who are chronically sick, and I made a video about this, I think it's linked in the description, but basically people who are chronically sick, and obese people do count as people who are chronically sick, because when you're this heavy, you always have something wrong with you. People who have a chronic illness or chronic disease, they get addicted to their problems, okay? They enjoy being sick all the time on a subconscious level because it gives them something to complain about, and when you complain, you naturally draw pity from other people, which means they have to be nice to you. And also, when you're chronically sick, it adds another level to your identity. Okay, so this person in this video, I already forget her name, Foodie Beauty, she has, like I said earlier, this identity of somebody who's quote unquote struggling with her weight. Now she's also got this identity, right? Like you can hear it when they talk about their medications. You know, I have to check with my thrombosis doctor, I have to check with my other doctor, right? It adds a level of significance to their life that if you were to take that away, all of a sudden she wouldn't have to interact with all these people and get that level of care from somebody, because, you know, who's going to care about her if she doesn't have these problems? Okay, you see this a lot. A couple of years ago, my parents moved to La Quinta, which is a retirement community in California near Palm Springs. And as a retirement community, you have a lot of people who are 65, 70, 80, 90 years old, and you overhear a lot of conversations where people will talk about, oh, well, my doctor said that blah, 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 and oh, I have diabetes, so that means blah, 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 and oh, well, you know, I had my first hip replaced when I was 69, you know, and they just like, essentially the only thing that they have to talk about are their health problems. Okay, now, I mean, you could make the argument, I would make the argument that the reason that they identify so strongly with their health problems is because they do such a bad job of living a, you know, rich life once they retire. Okay, a lot of people, they spend their entire lives working. Then when they retire, they don't know what to do with themselves. And the only kind of variety that they have in their life is their health problems. Okay, she has this as well, except, I mean, what is she, like maybe early 40s? Late 30s maybe? There's no, I don't want to say there's no excuse. Like she should have other stuff in her life that, you know, she draws significance from.
Concerned and wondering about that. So, I just, yeah, so that's it. Anyways, guys, he said I can just stop the escitalopram and take the Effexor, like, right away. Doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go get my prescriptions filled, and I will see you. So I need to really commit to this, walking every day. And I know people are like, oh my God, like people were making comments about the grocery shopping, but you know, that's comes back to the ableism. It's like, you know, I'm not a fit person, you know, and I'm working on it, but that was really, you know, even just grocery shopping is really hard for me. And yeah, I know it's bad, but that it is what it is, you know, and I'm, like I said, I'm working on it. So anyway, so I I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.
All right, so 2 things before we take a look at the SEO and the drugs that she's taking. Number 1, walking for 15 minutes a day. This happens a lot when you have people who are extremely unhealthy or overweight, and this is kind of a trend that you see from doctors and governmental like health regulations, where they will underdose and underprescribe things like vitamins and like how much exercise you should actually get. Like I think the FDA recommends like, oh, you should do at least 20 minutes of exercise 3 times a week. Like, come on, what is that going to do for you? That's not going to get you into good shape. That's not going to like do anything for you. That's just enough. That's not even enough to do anything. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if this lady walks for 15 minutes, what is that going to do for her? That's not going to do shit for her. And also, what was the other thing I wanted to talk about? I don't know. Getting out of breath when you do groceries. You're working on it. Like, oh, right. This is one of the things that I appreciate about being in the military, which is that you're pushed so hard, way past the point of breaking. Like I mean, I don't know. I think everybody breaks in the Army, right? That's kind of the goal, is that they break you to build you back up, is what you hear a lot. Everybody breaks. There's nobody who goes in, and there's nobody who comes out the same as when they went in, But what ends up happening is that when you get out, your tolerance for pain is so high that you're able to exist in the civilian world without really feeling like it's that hard. Like I remember when I got out, I would or even on the weekends when I would get out temporarily, or actually when I got out and I would hang out with, let's say, Americans again who hadn't served in the military, I thought their lives were so, not stupid, but so like meaningless. Like all their concerns were like the shirt that they bought at the mall and, working their 8-hour day. It was like, dude, this is your life. This is your, I don't know, it's just kind of a joke. And then you look at somebody like this, who's obviously never pushed herself in any sort of way at all in anything, and they're literally just like a complete powder puff, You almost can't blame her for being in the shape that she's in. Okay, so now that we've done that, I want to take a look at 2 more things. I know this is a long video, but we're going to take a look at the SEO for this, okay, because this is very good. Binge eating disorder. Let's see, that's actually not the best term, but 15,000 searches a month. Competition score, fairly decent. Eating disorder, let's take a look at these. So this is a tool called vidIQ. This is what I use for my own SEO. And I just kind of take a look at these terms. So let's see here. And then if you are really curious, you can look at Ubersuggest, which is SEO for Google. Okay, so let's see, medication to treat binge eating disorder. Let's see how that goes. That's probably a bit long for YouTube. Let's see what, oh shit. Let's see what Ubersuggest comes up with. Yeah, I'm in Bangkok right now in a guest house, and my internet is god awful, so it's possible that this won't load right now. Yeah, this is, anyway, so I almost take back what I said about binge eating disorder and medications, although it is fairly SEO optimized, although the search terms are not quite as good as I originally thought, at least on YouTube. Okay, vidIQ is for YouTube SEO. Ubersuggest is for Google SEO. Now the second thing I want to take a look at are these antidepressants. Okay, so escitalopram is actually Lexapro. Okay, so I've actually heard of this. I thought I'd never heard of this. Nausea, feeling tired. Okay, so this could be why she's so fatigued all the time, because it does make you tired, which is kind of strange for an antidepressant. You would think somebody who's depressed is literally tired anyway, so like why would you give them something that would make them more tired? It sounds kind of stupid. Charges of evergreening. Side effects not associated with weight gain. These are just awful. Best antidepressant ever, in my opinion, Wellbutrin. That shit is fucking miraculous. Alright, so that's garbage. So they said replace the replace the Lexapro with Effexor. I've never taken this. Severe side effects include an increased risk of suicide, mania, serotonin syndrome. Ooh, that's not good. That is very not good. Loss of appetite, that's probably why he prescribed it. Yeah, dude, why don't you prescribe the Wellbutrin? That shit'll fix her up ASAP. Okay, and then let's take a look at Vyvanse also. Because as I recall, that's an ADD medication. Here we go. Yeah. Lisdexamfetamine. And warfarin, I want to say that is for, like, it's a beta blocker, maybe? I could be wrong. Okay, that's not going to load. Don't you just love shitty internet? This load? Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so that's a non-issue, really. So let's close that. Oh, come on, computer. Why are you doing this to me? Oh my goodness, come on. Sorry about this. It's not the most exciting part of the video. Oh, alright. Okay, lisdexamfetamine sold under the brand name Vyvanse and others, medication used to treat ADD. So like this habit that I have of looking up drugs honestly comes from when I used to pop a bunch of pills, and anytime I found medication I would like look it up to see if I could take it and get high from it. Not the best like source of a good habit. However, now that I'm relatively clean, I mean I don't like pop a bunch of random pills that get me high anymore. I still do this just to kind of see what everything does. Because occasionally you'll find one that has good nootropic effects that you can actually take and doesn't like fuck you up beyond repair. Lisdexamfetamine, central nervous system stimulant. Yeah, so this okay, so it converts into dextroamphetamine, which is dexedrine, in case you guys have heard of that. It's an older, what's it called? An older ADD medication. So it's Schedule 2 somehow, not Schedule 1. Okay, so this is basically an amphetamine. Okay, so basically they're giving her, I mean it's not as bad as like crystal meth, but it's basically like Adderall. Okay, you're prescribing Adderall to somebody who's really fat, and I mean theoretically it should help to have her lose weight, because I know when I used to take Adderall to study, mostly, I didn't eat for like 2 days. I mean, I definitely abused it for sure. Like we would take it and stay up all night and play video games and get high. But I would also occasionally use it to study, and oh my god, that shit was the bomb. But anyway, I wouldn't eat. I was just not hungry. Okay, so this is what she's going to be taking along with warfarin, which is a blood thinner. Which, if you take a blood thinner, it's theoretically going to increase the effects of stuff like this. So this little cocktail that she's taking, not the best, especially consider she's got some heart issue. Like, I don't know, this is just not good in general, right? All of this, imagine all of this instead of just eating less, okay? Instead of just fasting, What it really is, again, this is the last thing before I end the video, but what this really is just somebody with virtually no willpower trying to do literally everything they can to avoid what they consider to be a painful situation, which in this case is foregoing the dopamine release that comes from eating unhealthy food. Okay, so whoever asked me to review this video, that is my review. If you guys have any other requests for videos that you want me to review or YouTubers that you want me to take a look at, I would be happy to do it. Yeah, that's it. Peace.